What's up, guys? Thanks for tuning in. We are here recapping that horrible, abysmal loss against the Miami Dolphins in Week 5. My name is Zach Hernandez, and as always, I'm joined by Matt Llewellyn. Matt, why don't you go ahead and take it away? I'm almost speechless.
Yeah, listen, before we get to what happened today, let's throw in something positive to start. I just want to give a huge shout out to Alex Smith, former 49ers quarterback, who after almost 2 years away from breaking his leg and really losing his leg, 17 surgeries later, was able to get out there and play football. And, he really, did a great job. It's, you wonder if a guy like that is ever going to make it back. And I called this yesterday on the show. I said, Alex Smith is going to play in that game tomorrow. Mark my words, he's going to play because Kyle Allen's not going to make it through that game. And I thought it was going to be performance-wise, but he got injured. So you never want to see that. But, it's one of those things where, a former 49er, you always want to see how they do. And, Alex Smith, by all accounts, is such a good teammate and such a good dude. So after all of that, it was nice to see him get back out on the field. That being said, there's the positive out of the way. Let's make ourselves a shit sandwich because today was horrendous. Today was the day that the 2020 San Francisco 49ers season died. The season's over, folks. This team is not making playoffs, plain and simple. And, you'll see those guys who are like, oh, well, you're just a bandwagon fan. Oh, you're jumping off the bandwagon. It's not bandwagoning when you're telling the truth. I was born into 49ers fandom. I've been a fan since I was born in 1982. I've been here for all the highs. I've been here for all the lows. I'm still here now. But truth be told, this is a bad football team right now. And it's not because there's no talent. It's because this team just seems to be snake bit. People will say Super Bowl hangover. I don't really think it's a hangover. I think that this team has so many injuries that at some point you're just not able to overcome the injuries. So, today was pretty much the last nail in the coffin on this season. So go ahead and take it away, Zach.
Yeah. As far as the season being over, I'm dressed for a funeral, and today we are laying to rest the 2020 season for the 49ers because that was horrible. They were murdered out there in front of our very own eyes. We saw that abysmal performance by both sides of the ball, and we were just listening to a bit of Kyle Shanahan's press conference before coming on here, and they asked him why was Brian Allen in for so long. I think he was in for 4 defensive series before they finally pulled him, and he pretty much just said, look, we were limited going into the game. Akello apparently was still injured. That's what he was claiming, that he didn't feel right, like he was ready to go, and they only dressed him for an emergency corner. And he said
they had a fucking emergency.
Yeah. Talk about if break glass.
I've never seen a man get lit on fire so fast.
They immediately went at him, constantly went at him, and whether it was giving up the passes, giving up the touchdowns, drawing the pass interference penalties. He was horrible. I mean, After the first 2 series, I'm like, okay, they got to pull him. Like, what are they doing? They're going to pull him. Nope. They let him get burnt a few more times, give up a few more touchdowns. And by that point, I kind of thought, okay, this game's out. This game's out of reach.
Yeah. And the thing that I have never seen a cornerback performance that bad in my life. And the thing that I joked about on Twitter was like, I added PFF and I'm like, do you guys give negative grades? Because this is the worst fucking performance I've ever seen. He, honestly, he's going to be cut. And he probably packed his own bags at halftime. He packed up his locker room. He came out without his cleats on. He knew, he's done. You know what I mean? He shouldn't even get his jersey as a keepsake, dude. They should give that to the Miami Dolphins Hall of Fame because he was the best player on their team today.
I almost knew what type
Rich
of
Seibel, hold on. Rich Seibel keeps saying that's the coach. Which coach? Kyle? No. Robert Saleh? Yes. And we'll get to that. Robert Saleh, his seat is heating up.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Zach.
I almost knew what kind of day it was going to be as soon as they went for it on that 4th and short. And the worst play call I could imagine they go for. And I get it. You're trying to protect Jimmy. You're probably thinking if he's injured, you're helping him out there. You don't want to put him right under center. But still, then maybe don't call a handoff. Call a play action roll. Or call something else. Right. I don't know. But
Or like a rub play with wide receivers.
Yes, the fact you give it to your running back in a shotgun 3 to 4 yards behind the line when you only need a yard, that was I already knew. I'm like, okay. It was almost like last week on Sunday night when Mullins overthrew Juice on that first series, and you just got the feeling right then and there what type of day it was going to be. And it sucked, man. It sucked all around. And going back to the press conference, he said that Jimmy was pulled because he was hurting his ankle. He didn't want him to get further injured. Matt, is he covering for Jimmy?
I think a little bit. I think Jimmy's neck was probably hurting more after Dwelly just let Rip Van Winkle or whatever his name was get right by him and just blast him in the back. Just terrible blocking all the way around, and that's been a problem. But I want to say this, and this is something that I never thought I'd say because I've been a Jimmy Garoppolo defender from day one, and I'm going to say this. This was the worst first half of 49ers quarterbacking since Colin Kaepernick opened a game with 2 pick sixes against Arizona. It was horrendous. 7 of 17, 77 yards, 2 picks. And not like, oh, it got tipped or, oh, whatever. These were wobbling duck, awful throws. I mean, I could throw better passes than what happened. And I'm going to say I'm 1 foot off of the Jimmy train right now. I'm not completely, I don't want to react hyperbolically because I do think that he still has some lingering effects. I didn't think I saw him take one, maybe the first snap was under center and the rest was shotgun. I don't think he was right. In that case, why are you playing him?
Yeah.
But I think that we have enough info on him that we can say that he's going to be, more Kirk Cousins than he is Deshaun Watson or somebody like that. He's a B- B quarterback in a league where it's going to be hard to win with anything less than a B+ or an A- or an A quarterback, and you can't expect him. And I said this on the show, you can't expect him to be Mahomes, but he's got to be better than he is. Even the passes that he completed, there was one to Kittle that, Kittle could have got yards after the catch, but it was low and behind him. Bourne had a drop, but it was behind him. Ball placement for Jimmy has always been an issue, and I think that when he doesn't get the reps and he's not being used in a regular fashion, if he's not on rhythm and throwing the ball, his ball gets away from him. The first pick that he threw was like a complete underthrow. I don't even know what he was throwing. I mean, it's like, okay, you're going to throw a deep ball, a jump ball really, to Cargo Plane McKinnon, who's like 5'4". It's just like, what are you doing? He didn't even look off the safety. The safety read that play from day one, from jump, and was able to get to the ball. So, yeah, I don't know.
He threw that ball up there, and immediately I'm like, no way in hell is that it's either incomplete or an interception. Sure enough, it was intercepted, and
it's essentially a punt in that situation. But and Semper saying Jimmy wasn't fully healthy. Well, then why is he playing? You had to have seen throughout the week that if he wasn't able to step into his throws today, then he definitely wasn't able to do it Thursday, and he definitely wasn't able to do it Friday. So what are you doing throwing him out there? You just start with somebody else and give him the extra week of rest because, listen, I don't want to put this all at Jimmy because really the star of the show for this clusterfuck was Robert Saleh throwing Brian Allen out there to get eaten alive. And, it's one of those things where, you can say Akella was injured or whatever, and he was only dressed for an emergency. But I didn't see him come up lame in any spots later when he was playing.
No,
I saw
he
him
actually looked fine
and make plays.
for the most part.
He looked fine. So, which tells me that it might have been more something in-house that we don't know about. Akella maybe gotten a little bit of heat with the staff or whatever, and maybe they think, oh, your hamstring, huh? Okay, one of those things because he's playing behind Emmanuel Mosley and Richard Sherman, and maybe he had a bad attitude to start the season. I definitely don't think that it was anything physical because he didn't look like he was hurt.
No, he didn't. He looked fine, and I thought it was interesting that Kyle said that Kello was the one that went over to them and said, "Put me in. I'm ready to go." So even then, that kind of means like I took that as how injured really was he? If he's able to say, "All right, you know what? Enough of this BS. Just put me in there. It's getting too out of hand. Let me see what I can do." It's like maybe he could have done that from the beginning, and like you said, it was more of a coach's decision to not have him in there.
Yeah.
I mean, they made Brian Fitzpatrick look like Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
They couldn't stop anybody.
We have Trackman in the chat saying this game should be deleted from our assessment. It's not just this game. This was supposed to be a growth season for Jimmy. And when he got hurt against the Jets, we saw decisive Jimmy. We saw him throwing, getting the ball out on time and on target. But then this game, when he's allegedly supposed to be less hurt than he was initially, you would think after 2.5 weeks of recovery, against, a team that's pretty similar, I would say. It's not like the Dolphins are world beaters. Again, we knew this was a very winnable game, a game they should have won. And he was off. His throws were off. They looked bad. Ball placement was bad. And it's like, it's not just one game. We're getting to the point where you need to think about the fact that he's not taking that step. I think he's topped out. I think we've seen the best of what he is, and we're not going to get much more. And, is that enough, again, to win games and get you? Of course, he wins games. But how is that going to go moving forward for this team with 25 upcoming free agents and being cap strapped and, things like that? You have to start looking at those things. He's basically on a year-to-year contract now. They can get out for about $2.6 million if they decide to move on from him. And do you let him, lose all of his value before maybe you explore a trade or something like that? But at this point, if the 49ers have a horrendous 6-7 game stretch coming up, you know what I mean? And, how's that going to look? So again, I'm not trying to dump on Jimmy. I think Jimmy is a good quarterback, but he's not a great quarterback, and he's never going to be an elite quarterback. And these are the hard questions that you have to ask. Is what he's doing now good enough? If you think it is, then sure, keep him. If you don't, though, I'm a Jimmy guy. I like Jimmy. I think we can win with Jimmy. My point here is I think I've gotten to the point where the people that argue against Jimmy, I really don't have that leg to stand on to be like, give him more time. I think we've run out of time to give him. I think he's a good quarterback, and I think he should be the starter, and I think that, he'll probably be the starter going forward. But I think for the first time today, and I know Kyle said it was his ankle, but when they pulled him at the half, I think this was their come to Jesus moment with him, where they're telling him, hey, dude, you better figure it out because your spot here is not guaranteed. And I think before this game, I don't think that Kyle and John had those feelings about it, but you can kind of tell that they're getting to the point where it's like, come on, man, you got to step this thing up. Like, we have a window here. We have this talented team. It's not working. And some of that is on Kyle, some of that's on Jimmy, a lot of that's on the O-line, which has been horrendous, but something's not working, man. Something's not working. So they got to figure it out quick.
Yeah. A lot of some things aren't working. And comment here from Coach. Jimmy needs some help to be successful. He needs Kyle to make some adjustments in his style. For one, go back to 21 personnel and start doing a better job picking up blitzes. Teams will keep doing it. But
doesn't that prove my point, though?
Yeah, it
Jimmy
does.
needs help to be successful. You know what I mean? Like, that kind of says what his ceiling is. That he's in that Kirk Cousins, Derek Carr mold where if he has a lot of talented, skilled people around him, he's going to do the job. He'll get it done. But if one or two things are off, like we see with the offensive line this year, like if we had last year's offensive line with this team, Jimmy would probably be lighting it up because the skill position players are better.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But he has no time.
But I think we knew that. Wasn't that basically what we were saying going into this week, is that he's not the guy that's going to get it done himself?
Yeah. Yes. But today was especially bad.
It was. It was Nick Mullins bad.
I think this was worse than Nick Mullins, to be honest.
Really?
Because, yeah. I mean, at least Mullins could put some drives together. He had two, super stupid throws, right? One that he threw right at a guy. But, Jimmy just – it's so frustrating because you see the arm talent with Jimmy, and you just see that it's just it's a game of inches, man. Like, his ball placement is just off sometimes. Like, when Kittle got injured, that ball placement was off, I'm not going to say that led to the injury because Kittle was back on the ground by the time he got hit, but that was a bad ball, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe the time if you hit him in stride, then he doesn't have to jump, and then it takes Baker a little bit longer to get there. But it was just bad. But I don't want to put it all on Jimmy. The interior offensive line, it's a joke. I know that there's obviously some communications problems between Trent Williams and Laken Tomlinson.
They were going at it.
Talking during the game. They were going at it. And I think, honestly, just because of track record, we'd have to go with Trent Williams on that, right? Like, Trent Williams obviously is an all-pro. It could be Laken. Maybe Trent Williams is – well, that's not true either because Trent Williams has played under Kyle Shanahan before. So, I don't know, man. But, I'm just going to put this out there right now. And, again, I'm not trying to, dump on the season or whatever, but I don't see with the next 7 games how this team makes the playoffs. I just don't. And it's not through – again, I don't want to put blame on any one person because I don't think it's any one thing. Injuries hit us. Jimmy is injured, hasn't played well. Kyle hasn't done a great job calling plays, to be honest. I think his play calling has left something to be desired. I blame Parag Marathe and John Lynch for the way that they've constructed this team. There shouldn't be this many free agents, and they should not have ignored key positions like Javon Kinlaw. He's going to replace DeForest Buckner, and hindsight is 2020. We got a little banged up on the defensive line, and we could have used it. Blah 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 blah. But we knew that cornerbacks were coming up. We knew that interior O-line was a problem, and they went and drafted, again, a position of strength. For the 5th straight year, they picked a defensive lineman in the 1st round. For the 5th straight year. And it's like, how many first-round picks are you going to throw at a position that you're already strong at? Premium picks should go to premium positions, and there were plenty of corners out there that are already making an impact around the league that the 49ers could have gotten at either 13 or 25 when they traded back up to get Ayuk. I'm not going to complain about Ayuk because Ayuk looks like the real deal. But there were areas of this team that they needed to fill, and you have to start scrutinizing John Lynch. How are you putting this team together long term? Not just last year was last year. Now we're in a point where the team is cap strapped. They have so many free agents that they're not going to be able to retain good players. What is the team going to do moving forward? And it's a frustrating situation, because we saw what happened when the Rams went to the Super Bowl and they lost. And then last year they were not good, right? And we wanted to avoid that, but it doesn't seem like we were able to avoid that. And we, again, I don't think it's the exact same as a Super Bowl hangover because of the injuries, but still it's one of those things where the year after a Super Bowl, it's a disappointing season. So,
I think
it's frustrating.
As far as this game, I think the reason why Jimmy was out there because Kyle didn't really think it was going to get that out of hand. I thought he could probably play it close to the vest. He could probably lean on Mostert a lot, play conservatively, and maybe if they got up with a big lead, he could even pull him for the end of the quarter, the 4th quarter, whatever the case may be. But as soon as this got out of hand quickly, he realized this is a game where if we win, Jimmy's going to need to throw 40 plus times. And that's not really what he's capable of doing right now. So I feel like maybe that's why he put Jimmy in there, knowing he wasn't 100%, especially after seeing that horrible performance last week. But at the same time, it's like, man, I don't know. I just can't help but think, what if we go into this game with CJ, who's not great, don't get me wrong, but the 49ers know what they need to do going in. There's not this false sense of security. We were saying it all week. Oh, well, they got all 11 offensive starters healthy for the first time. They're going to light it up. And then, it was just a complete letdown on the offense and the defense especially. But it's hard to blame it on the entire defense when it was one guy 90% of the time. And this Ace Daddy said it right here. Why not start Ward at corner and move more to free safety? Couldn't have been any worse today.
I've heard that Ward said fuck playing cornerback. That's what I've heard.
Really?
That he just doesn't want to do it. Yeah.
Huh.
So I don't know how reliable that is, and I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth. I've just heard that. But it's the real problem was Allen. And they signed him to be on their practice squad. It's not like they haven't seen him. Maybe some of these training camp reports of wide receivers balling out is because they're fucking going against Brian Allen. You know what I mean? Run more 2-back sets. They run a lot of 2-back sets, but when you get good runs on first down and then you run a 2-back set on second down and then you get tackled for a loss and you're at 3rd and 8, which by the way, the 49ers third down average is 8.5 yards to gain.
Horrible.
So you can't run 2-back sets on 3rd down and long. Sorry, coach. I mean, like, all due respect, it's not going to happen. And then when you have the offensive line leaking the way that it is, it's not going to work that way. The quarterback can't drop. And then again, we saw it. Jimmy had Debo on that 3rd down immediately after he got hit, but he got hit so damn hard that he got happy feet. And I don't blame him on that, that next play or whatever, but the line is getting him annihilated. And it's just, there's a lot going on here. There's many layers to the failures of the start of this season. And to me, I mean, essentially for me, you can throw those 2 wins out the window. They don't mean anything. The Giants and the Jets suck.
Yep.
Like of course you're going to beat those teams. They stink. Yep.
They haven't won. They haven't played. I think up to today was the first time that they played a game. They played a team with a win. Up until prior to today, all of their teams hadn't won a game yet. They won 2 of them, and the rest of them they've looked pretty badly. So it's ugly.
Coach, I'll give you that, by the way. I'll give you that, Coach. They do motion out the second back a lot. But they also use Juszczyk as an edge blocker because they run to the edges. So they're motioning Juszczyk out to get him a head start to block because they know that the line's going to get no push at all on runs. So you need to move him out to set that edge. And actually some of their best run plays were when they would like put Juszczyk out on the edge and then they'd motion the wide receiver across the formation to pick up extra blockers. We saw that on the big Mostert run. I think they should use Juszczyk more, like on that touchdown play. That was a brilliant play call. You know what I mean? Like between Mostert and Juszczyk, you have a dynamic backfield there. Maybe some play action where Juszczyk check blocks and then releases, out into the flat. Like there's a lot that they can do. So again, I'm not absolving Kyle Shanahan. I think his play calling has been very suspect at times. And I think he falls in love with what he likes to do a little too much. But he's not going anywhere, guys. He just signed an extension, and York is not going to pay for like his 85th head coach at the same time. That's just not going to happen. He's not going anywhere. There's a lot going on. But go ahead, Zach. Sorry, don't mean to interrupt. We're trying to get to the chat.
No, you're good. So you said it in the chat once Jimmy started looking badly. You said if you pull Jimmy here in this game, you're basically admitting we're not
on the season.
Yeah, we're not really with you anymore. We're not fully supportive of you.
I don't know. No. What I mean by that is when they pulled Jimmy, it was the first time that there was a question where you could see a visible like, is Jimmy our guy? Rather than he is our guy, it's is he our guy? And it was funny when Jimmy first was traded over, that was a John Lynch move. And it took some selling to Kyle Shanahan to kind of okay that. And I don't think Kyle Shanahan is really married to Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't think he gives a shit. Like, you can see he loves C.J. Beathard. For whatever reason, he really likes C.J. Beathard. But I don't think that he is married to Jimmy the way that he is to some of his other players. So, I don't think he has a problem being like, he'll say he won't throw him under the bus publicly like he did today. Oh, it's for his ankle. But, he wasn't healthy. Yeah, well, then he shouldn't have been out there because even a hurt quarterback shouldn't play that badly. Like, if you can't go, and that's fine. But, dude, that was horrendous. I think Richburg's going to make a difference. I think Richburg is going to make a huge difference. I think Brunskill needs to get out of there, man. He is not built for the inside. I think he plays better as a swing tackle. And we talked about this yesterday, that he's better as a swing tackle. I think that Garland would do better at the right guard. And actually, what I would do is I'd put Garland next to Williams and swap Tomlinson to the right guard because it's obvious there's a disconnect there between Tomlinson and so for me, Garland, he's he wasn't a high drafted guy. I think he went undrafted, right? So he's going to defer. Where Laken Tomlinson's going to be like, well, I was a first round pick too. I know what I'm doing. Don't tell me, And I don't know that it's like that, but you can just imagine that there's going to be some war of egos there or whatever. So, yeah. But, I mean, today. Oh, thanks, Coach. This actually, so I'm going to give the story. I actually got this flag. This flag actually flew outside of Levi Stadium, and they pulled it down because it was starting to get in tatters. Remember Alvarino ran that like giveaway or whatever? I won that giveaway. So I'm using the flag as the background now. So
Yeah, shout out Rob Alberino.
Yep.
Oscar, what a game. O-line did not protect it all. No. And that's why it's really hard to try and grade Jimmy fairly, because it's like,
it is.
What was the best case scenario with what he was given? It was tough. But even when he did have a clean pocket or he was able to get some throws out, it still didn't look good. Ugly balls, complete ducks. They just sailed on him, and it was it was horrible. It was disgusting, and I tweeted, I think, after his second interception, you got to get him out of there, regardless of what the reason is. If it's health, if it's a mental thing, if it's a confidence thing, get him out of there, especially if you have any hope of him coming back next week and being a confident quarterback, leading this team to any more wins. And we talked about this in the chat today. There's 7 tough games coming up. How many more of these games will they win? I mean,
I'm actually going to make a prediction. I don't think he's going to play against the Rams.
Really?
Yeah. Why are you going to throw him out there less than 100% against Aaron Donald when your interior line can't stop a nosebleed?
Yep.
I don't think he's going to play. I think they're going to say, oh, well, his ankle's really hurt. Like, he's not ready yet. He aggravated his ankle, so he's got to sit out another game. And they're going to let CJ Beathard get absolutely destroyed.
Yikes.
And so I don't think that Jimmy is going to start until you go against a team that doesn't have a great pass rush like New England. And he's going to play against New England.
I think it was David Yang commented in here earlier that, it's enough of right here. Got to get over the hurdles. Can get hurt at any second hurdles until he trusts his legs. He won't be back until the old Jimmy. I mean, we talked about this when we were talking about Debo and George coming back, and we said, look, if they're healthy enough to go, they got to go. We can't play this. We can win this kind of game without him. Is this similar to that, Matt, or is it kind of like, no, he will literally get killed if we put him out there right now? We got to protect him.
For who? For Jimmy?
For Jimmy, yeah.
I mean, he's going to get killed.
So you got to pull
him like trash. I think they had to pull him. And listen, so again, like I said, I'm a Jimmy guy. So I'm just playing devil's advocate here that like there's a lot that I defended in the past for Jimmy that I don't really feel like I have a leg to stand on to defend anymore. But he's not moving around well, and you could tell the way those ducks were just up there flapping away that, his ankle is still bothering him. There's a reason why he never did anything under center. But again, if that's the case, then you can't play him. This line gets up the most quarterback hits in the NFL. Like Deshaun Watson would kill for this line. Like, you know what I mean? Like, as far as like, that's what he's used to. You know what I mean? Like even the Texans offensive line is better than this. So I don't know. I think I should have reversed that, right? Jimmy would kill for the Deshaun Watson's line.
Yeah.
Whatever. We're live, folks. Shit happens. No, but like, yeah, dude. Listen, Ace Daddy. I would be totally behind the team start playing with like offensive line configurations because what they're doing right now isn't working. I think they're really just holding off until Weston Richburg gets back because Weston Richburg makes a huge difference, and you saw it last year too. Like before Weston Richburg got hurt, the 49ers played really good on the line. And then, there were some holes in it once he left. And I think being able to call out coverages and being such a smart player that where everybody is supposed to be makes a huge difference. You know what I mean? So, yeah,
The only bright spot from today, and there definitely were not many, Mostert looked good, and it looked like he was able to find 90 some holes. What's that?
Yeah. 11 for 90, 11 carries for 90 yards for Mostert.
That's not bad.
He had some receptions too.
Yeah, so
11 for 90 is good. That's like 8 yards a carry.
Exactly. Yeah, that is. He looked like good.
8.2 yards a carry or something.
And he actually made the offensive line, at least in the running game, look okay when he was under center or in the backfield, I should say. He had a couple of nice runs, and Juice. He looked good, and I finally noticed some fullback-led runs. We know this team is really good once they get Juice as that lead blocker, and I don't know why they don't do more of that. Maybe because they feel they need to kind of motion Juice and get him on the edge, but I don't know, man. I just feel like oh my God. Sorry, David. Yeah, we added 13 more quarterback hits to the 40 we already had. That is ridiculous. 53 quarterback hits in 5 games.
Yeah, so I'm going to give Jimmy a little bit of a pass for that. And so that's why I say, like, I'm not out on Jimmy. Like, I'm just saying, like, I can't defend him as vociferously as I used to.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, even
I feel the same way.
Ago,
yeah, I feel the same exact way.
It's hard to do.
Yeah. Question here from Oscar. Is it time to hit the panic button?
I mean, what do you define as panic? This team's not making the playoffs.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's not making the playoffs. The schedule's too tough. This 7-game stretch is going to really push the limit, and there's just too many injuries. So I think right now you just do the best you can, and, you have to start figuring things out for 2021 because there's so much that you have to, that you have to do.
Was this the worst loss under Kyle Shanahan?
The best. I love this guy. Whoever you are, Hung Fat, you're the best.
Thanks for the super chat.
VIP right here. No, it wasn't. Let's be real.
Really?
The Super Bowl was the worst loss. Come on. The Super Bowl was the worst loss. We had a 21-10 lead to go with 6 minutes left, and they lost the game. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's the worst. Come on.
No, it is. It's in a different way for me. It's like an all-out beatdown was this game. Whereas the Super Bowl, they played well and then they completely screwed themselves, shot themselves in the foot, and let it go. So 2 different types of worst loss. This was the worst performance, I would say. That was maybe the most painful loss, if that makes sense.
Well, so this is what I said, but this is what I said yesterday too, right? It's better to get blown out than to be teased with a victory. And that, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I don't know. But
that's right.
I also don't think that a lot of these I don't think a lot of these are the Super Bowl is on Kyle. I don't think this game was 100% on Kyle. I think this was more on Robert Saleh because there's no way that Brian Allen should have been out there. Like, I'm going to be interested to see in the PFF numbers, but he probably gave up like 6 catches for like 200 yards and 3 touchdowns along with a penalty. I mean, they just went at him. Like, there were plays, and our own Scott said it in the chat where, like, he has the sideline, right? Like, he's on the boundary.
Yep.
And he's given up like 3 yards of outside leverage. Like, what are you doing, dude? Like, how far off are you playing these wide receivers? And so, like, I mean, listen, if you just let – and sometimes he's Fitzmagic, but if you just let Ryan Fitzpatrick dot you up all day, you suck, dude. You suck.
Yep.
He's never going to get it. I'm telling you right now, Brian Allen will never get another NFL job. Never. That's a career killer right there.
That is bad.
Literally the worst cornerback game I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, it was bad, and it's interesting to know. I mean, obviously you go at the weakest link to start off, but they immediately targeted him, and once they smelled blood, these Dolphins turned into sharks, and they just went at him constantly all day long until they finally pulled him. I got a quote here from George Kittle I want to read to you, Matt. If we're not running the ball well and we turn into a passing offense, we're just not as good as we can be. That's just the flat, sad truth of the matter, right? This is a running team.
Wait. George Kittle said that?
Yeah.
Yo, that's a low-key diss at Jimmy.
You think that's how you take it?
Yep. Because what did he say before the game? That's my QB. He's handsome. He has a rocket arm, and he feeds me the ball. That's what he said before this game. And now after this game, he's saying, if we have to turn to a passing team, we're not as good as we can be. That's George Kittle saying, like, Jimmy didn't get it done today.
Yep.
So, and I'm not going to, again, listen, disclaimer, I'm not saying George is definitely saying this, but what I read into it is that's what it is.
I could totally see that. It's like saying, if we got to rely on this guy, obviously we're not as good.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks, Coach. I really appreciate the super chat. This is a good question. You guys rock. Cameron Wake is still available as a pass rusher, by the way. I've seen his name brought up a few times. Do you kick the tires on him? I know you've been arguing.
Cameron Wake is the only man in the NFL that's older than me.
Not even Fitzpatrick?
I guess you could, but like his production fell off precipitously in his last year. I think his last full season he played, he had like 2.5 sacks. So, and again, like David Yang says, he's officially retired. Who's to even say that he wants to play? You know what I mean? Especially with like, this isn't a typical year, like with the COVID stuff going on. Like you can't just be, pick up the phone and be like, expect people to be like, oh yeah, I'd love an opportunity. Some people are going to be like, I don't want to do that. So
yeah, and also I'd add to that.
It would be nice. It would be nice, but again, this is so, and this is nothing against you, coach, but I see a lot of people doing this. You're talking about adding to a position that like isn't that weak. Like it's not the best right now from what we're used to. It's not the 2019 49ers defensive line, but it's not terrible. The cornerback room right now is terrible, and they need to address that. So
yeah, and I would add to that too that this isn't the 2019 49ers team as a whole. Who wants to join this team? You just saw them get completely embarrassed 2 weeks in a row, one on nationally televised TV. These players aren't begging to join this team. As much as he might be able to help, he probably has no interest in helping. He's probably thinking, why go out there and get my body beat up yet again at this age just to finish 6-10, you know, which is kind of the trajectory this team is starting to seem like they're going to end at. So it sucks. It really does suck. He added age is just a number. Wake had more double-digit sack numbers in the past 5 years than just about anyone, or is right up there. He's a situational player. And in that adding that, I do say he would kind of remind me of almost adding like Elvis Dumervil when they added him in Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch's early years, where he was older in age, but he was still able to come off the bench in situational plays and be productive.
Sure. I just think that if you're going to sign somebody, like, why not? If you're looking at age as just a number and you want a vet who has experience, who's not like completely terrible, and we have secondary issues, why not go after somebody like Tramon Williams, who's sitting out there in free agency, who's a long-time vet with the Packers, or, you know, there's other guys that you can kind of go after, you know, and it's, I don't know, it's just unfortunate that it seemed like that this game was given up on early by their refusal to take out Brian Allen, who was just he was so bad. He was so bad.
Such a abysmal performance.
Yeah.
And that's what I was saying, like that it just got completely out of hand so quickly, so early that it was almost like they were like shell-shocked. Like they weren't expecting this at all. They were kind of like, holy crap, what the hell do we do now? We weren't supposed to be in a shootout with Ryan Fitzmagic of all fucking people, you know, like they were probably thinking we could probably win this game 24-10, no problem. And then they come out there and nope, just completely before they knew it was 14-0.
Yeah.
You're in a hole and you got a hobbled quarterback on one ankle.
14-0 and that 21-7 because, you know, again, it's so, and here's the frustrating thing too, because so Brian Allen got picked on right off the bat. So 3 now, like first series, it's like, all right, whatever. Like, you know, defense, let's hope the defense. And I was just like, these 40 brothers between Jamar Taylor and Brian Allen are just going to kill us. First play down the field against Brian Allen was, you know, so 7-0. Okay, fine. They go back out there. There's some unfortunate stuff. You know, they have a drive or whatever. They can't get it done. You know, another punt or whatever. That was the 4th and 1 play, I think, right? When it was 7-0. They had the drive, then the 4th and 1, they gave it up. Immediately, right back after Brian Allen. Okay, 14-0. 49ers put together a decent drive, a good drive. Ends with Kyle Juszczyk touchdown, 14-7. The next fucking drive, Brian Allen again. And like I heard so much of Brian Allen's damn name that it was just like this, like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like what we were saying, pull him after the first play.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're like, dude, this dude's wearing 48 as a cornerback. That means he sucks, dude. That's like when you're in a basketball team and you get issued 75. You're not playing, bro. Like, you're not supposed to be out there.
Yeah, it was bad. And you know, I thought, okay, you were trying to test it out and see if it worked. Well, it didn't work. So get him the hell out of there. But nope, it was like Robert Saleh was like, well, we're not quite sure yet. You know, let's see. Or maybe his voice is more like this. You know, we're not quite sure yet. He's got that Xerxes voice. But I just feel like there was no reason why they left him in there for as long as they did. There's no reason at all. Besides trying to drive a point home to Akello, that relationship soured so quickly. Whatever the case, whatever's going on between Akello and this team, it's obvious, and they can try and chalk it up to an injury. They can try and chalk it up to him not being 100%. Even a 50% Akello, which is saying a lot because Akello has played so poorly recently, is better than what we saw at Brian Allen. He doesn't even get picked on that consistently. So I don't know what the hell's going on, but they got to fix it soon. If not, this team's going to struggle to win any games this season.
Yeah,
Let's
it's
see.
unfortunate.
Going through the comments, didn't even try and run the ball.
Put up 4-9 bloodline. Put up 4-9 bloodline. That one. Yeah. Out for 2 games, not 2 years. His ankle was fine. His ankle wasn't fine. As a medical expert, I'll tell you a high ankle sprain takes a long time to heal because you're not only involving the ligaments that stabilize the foot, you're talking about ligaments that stabilize the tibia and the fibula. So you're talking, and in Jimmy's particular case, it wasn't like the typical you rolled your ankle the normal way. It was an inversion sprain, which is even worse. So it was obvious that it wasn't fine. He wasn't able to push off. Everything he threw looked like a duck. But that being said, if that was the case, then he shouldn't have been out there. They should have started somebody else and given him an extra week. So, while his ankle was obviously not fine, and, from a medical perspective, I wouldn't have put him out there. But, I think that they were thinking along the same lines we were. Like, oh, it's not going to be that bad. It's the Dolphins. Who cares, right? Who cares? Oh, it's the Dolphins. We can beat the Dolphins. And I think this was one of those, like, legitimate, when they say trap game or whatever. This was like, oh, we're going to go out there and get right. And there's too many injuries to just go out there and expect a get-right game. When you have to throw Brian Allen to start cornerback, right, you're in trouble. It's just the way that it is. So
it's true. It's true. And I think we went into it yesterday on the preview. The highest grade they had, according to PFF, for their pass defense was like 59.8 before this game. They have been a trash pass defense. They probably felt confident going in, even with a banged-up Jimmy, and still that's what happened. So it just sucked. But I want to get to this question here. Is it time to start trading some players to contenders for picks?
That's probably gonna wait. Tart, they're not gonna trade. There's no value there because he's a free agent after the year. So there's no real. They can't really. You can't really trade a guy like Tart for anything worth what he is, because he's gonna. All he has to do is be like, well, I'm not gonna sign with you guys, and then you don't get anything. It's a risk. It's not like he's at a tentpole position like Trent Williams was, who, again, the 49ers got Trent Williams for, what, a 5th-round pick?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, they pretty much fleeced the Redskins for Trent Williams, but...
Whoa. Washington football team, Matt.
You're right. Old habits die hard. At least I didn't say San Diego Chargers. I can't get over that one. They're not going to get a lot for Tart. I don't think they could. I don't think they want to. I think they want to try to retain Tart, even though I think he's going to be too expensive to retain. The two that I'm going to look at are Quan Alexander and D Ford. D Ford might be gone. I mean, definitely going to be gone. If you can get him out of here and have somebody just take that contract, that's almost like if somebody's like, I'll give you a 2023 7th-round pick. Boom, take it. Fine, take his contract. Because we need the cap space to re-sign other players. And to be quite honest, D Ford has been a huge disappointment. I remember when he traded the 2nd-round pick to Kansas City for him. And it was super exciting. And now he's just, again, like he was in Kansas City. He's so often injured that it's just like, well, we don't know what we're getting out of this guy. So,
yep. I remember reading
$1 million contract.
I remember reading tweets from Chiefs fans, and they were like, good luck. Hey, if you guys feel you won this trade, more power to you. And I remember I was like, oh, you guys are just salty because he jumped off sides. No, they were being 100% truthful. He has been horrible. When he was in last season, when he was healthy, he was effective, and he really helped more so because he wasn't asked to do too much. He wasn't asked to be the guy on the defensive line. However, now that the 49ers are desperately asking for him to be the guy, he can't even get in there. I mean, he had neck spasms that turned into a back issue. And then when's the last time you even heard about D Ford? It's like they're not even asking about him anymore. The team's not even giving updates on him because they're just like, I don't know. I mean, he's just out indefinitely, pretty much. So it sucks. Yeah. It sucks. And I think, to be honest, I think you, Coach, and 49 Bloodline are all on the same line here. Then they shouldn't have played him.
Wait. Yeah, he shouldn't have played, but 49 Bloodline's also like getting a little rowdy over here. If it's not Jimmy, who is it going to be? If you want to cut Jimmy, that's fine. But who is it going to be? Who are you going to get? In before he says Dak Prescott. That's not going to happen.
Oh, the snapped ankle was horrible.
Right.
Hate to see that.
No, but you have to take a chance on a rookie or whatever. I'm not again. Jimmy's like a B player. Like, I'm not saying that he's like an excellent quarterback, but if you're not absolutely sure that you can do better than him, then you're better off just letting it rock because his salary isn't that bad in comparison to other starting quarterbacks at this point. So
at this point, it looks about average for what he is. When they signed him, everybody was making a big fuss out of it, but for the most part, I mean, it's standard. It's par for the course. So it's hard to kind of make.
It's a year-to-year deal right now because they can get out for little dead money. It is too early to start trading players. I wouldn't expect them to try to trade anybody until after the season. There's no point in doing it now. This is the thing, and I'm looking at you, NFL Twitter. The NFL is not Major League Baseball. There's no player to be named later. There's no cash considerations. Okay? Trades are not super common. You're not getting value for value in NFL trades for the most part. Okay? The players that you sign are the players that you signed. And you're more likely to cut somebody and get rid of their contract than to trade them because in the NFL, contracts are not guaranteed. So a team is not going to overpay for somebody or pay market value for somebody that they know that they can get if they just wait it out and you have to cut them. Because as soon as you cut that person, they sign him, they don't have to deal with that massive contract anymore and they can sign him to a more team-friendly contract. So to get super good value for these players is not likely. And it's more likely that the 49ers would just eat dead money for a year and then go about it after that, which is not ideal.
Okay.
Oscar, I'm going to ban you. Get out of here with that. It's been 5 goddamn years. Get over it.
Where is it?
Did you forget the game against Arizona where he threw 4 picks, including 2 pick sixes on the first 2 drives?
Chicago game. He's
Remember
trolling.
that security guard from The Last Dance? Remember that security guard from The Last Dance? Michael Jordan's like, that's what I got for you, dude. Come on, man. He hasn't, dude, listen. And Colin Kaepernick was great for the 49ers. He took us to a Super Bowl. That's great and all. He hasn't played in forever, man. Like, you can't expect him to come off and be better than guys who are, I don't know, have been playing. I don't know. I think it's time to let that one go. I think that one's dead.
Yeah, he's got a whole new career now. He has no interest in coming back to play football. Coach, some people hate on Jimmy. He's a good quarterback when healthy, and all you need is good if you have an excellent run game. We have that. We just need G to get himself healthy and not rush back.
I disagree that we have an excellent run game. I don't think that we do because I think the offensive line has been trash this year. I think
it's been bad.
He's a really good running back and that he's been covering some of the warts. I think that once Weston Richburg gets back and we kind of reconfigure this line, then it could be something. But don't let the yards fool you because if you take away a lot of those big runs, as far as adjusted yards per carry, the 49ers, I think, are 31st. It's not good. It's not good.
It sucks when a Shanahan offense is that poorly at the run game. That's how you know your offense isn't good. 4-9. It looks like Washington fleeced us. Williams is not playing good at the moment. Do you think that right now they got the better end of that trade, or do you think that it's just some stuff he needs to clean up?
They got a 5th round pick, and we don't know. Again, we saw him jibber jabbering with Laken Tomlinson, so we don't know what is Trent Williams and what is Laken Tomlinson because in the first couple of games, Trent Williams was a beast. And
he looked good
on that long Mostert run. He was hauling ass down the field. Like, it was him and Slim Mike down the field ahead of Raheem Mostert, and they were just, like, busting dudes up. Eric Hernandez, I'm going to ban your ass, too. Don't even tell me Mullins needs to start. Get out of here.
That's funny.
Y'all are killing me right now. Y'all are killing me.
Hey, Statty, would you sign Rodgers? He's not going to be a free agent.
Green Bay is not going to let him go. Jordan Love sucks, and Aaron Rodgers is having a career year. They're not letting him go. Aaron Rodgers just like rolled into the front office at Green Bay and just like did one of these numbers right here and was like, So no. I think that they could do some research into a guy like Trey Lance though, which concerns me because I'm not necessarily super hyped about small school guys that don't play Power 5 conferences. That's just me. I think that you run into scenarios with like Carson Wentz who like, okay, he had some good times, but now he's starting to look like, I don't know, he's not really progressing. Even Jimmy Garoppolo, Eastern Illinois, like, you know, there's limits to those guys if you don't have enough tape or whatever. So,
Yeah.
and they're not going to be bad enough to get Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields. That's just not going to happen.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. Is a lot of people are saying, okay, it's time to tank for Trevor. You still think that they're not going to be that bad to get Trevor? Because I mean, you got to outbad the Jets and
Giants,
the Giants. Yeah. No. That's your question there, Matt.
Bad ace daddy. Cam Newton sucks. Fig Newton sucks. He's soft. Won't even dive on a fucking fumble in the Super Bowl.
Body language of the team hasn't seemed right. It hasn't. No, it seems like they just haven't. Bad. I don't want to say recovered from the Super Bowl because that's not quite it, but they're not. It's like they're not here yet. I tweeted out today. Did this team know they were playing the
Ace Daddy? That's half a joke. He looks really good in New England. He looks really good in New England. I'm done. Yeah. I just like to talk shit. That's an inside joke. Like I like to talk shit on Cam Newton, but he looks pretty good. So.
I'm actually curious to get your thoughts on this, Matt. Sam Darnold, you said you felt so bad to what New York has done to him. Would you take a chance on him if they're willing to trade him for?
He's broken. No, he's broken.
Not even worth it.
So I'm gonna tell you this. I would rather have Josh Rosen than Sam Darnold.
Fair.
Because Josh Rosen hasn't really gotten the opportunity. So Josh Rosen doesn't have like a lot of the seeing ghost thing that Sam Darnold has. Sam Darnold has been hit to the point where I think he's always – it's like David Carr was like a really good quarterback coming out, and that Houston line was so bad that it's like PTSD. Like, and as a former military guy, I'll tell you right now, PTSD, like, that's no joke, man. You get the shit beat out of you, and it's gonna have an effect, So no, I think Sam Darnold is about broken. Josh Rosen is a guy that really hasn't had the opportunity, so you might be able to salvage him, especially with an offensive genius like Kyle Shanahan. He might be able to do something with him. Just go pluck him off the Tampa Bay's practice squad. Let's see what you got.
I actually liked Rosen a lot coming out of college. I thought if he went to the right team, and I was actually excited for him when he went to Arizona. I thought, oh man, we're gonna have to face this guy twice a year. And they just totally dumped on him, man. I couldn't believe they did him that dirty.
To be fair, Kyler Murray is a better fit in Arizona, though.
Oh, he is, 100%. Yeah. But just long-term view, you don't draft a quarterback in the first round. What, top 20? I forget when they drafted Rosen, and then fire that head coach, bring another head coach. 10, yeah.
He was 10th.
No foresight at all. Comment by Head Apt. Defense missing Buckner, Bosa, Thomas, Mosley, K1, Sherm. Not a surprise on defense. More shocked about the ineptitude on offense and big fall on the offensive line. Perhaps losing Staley was big.
Yeah, but it's not all. So people are going to say that it's Trent Williams because of a number of because it's a high profile name, right? But McGlinchey's been trash. The interior O line has been trash. Like Brunskill got pushed right into the backfield today multiple times. They're missing their starting center. So, it's not Trent Williams. And you got to remember that for as great as Joe Staley was throughout his 49ers career, last year was not his best season.
No, not at all.
He gave up a lot of pressures last year, to be honest. And he wasn't that good at getting out in space and run blocking. Hindsight is 2020. We look through the rose-colored lenses, and I think that Joe Staley, for me, is like a top 10 all-time 49er. I think he's the best left tackle in 49ers history. But at this point, we can't just say that it's like, this guy or that guy. And the defense missing people, I will give you that. But when you throw Brian Allen out there and he gets burnt toast, and you have a Kella Witherspoon who comes in 4 or 5 drives in, and then, the Dolphins can't seem to find the end zone after that, then you have to question, like, the coaches. And for me, Robert Saleh, really, you need to look at Robert Saleh. And I know that I said that I'd get to this earlier. Let's get to it now. Robert Saleh, to me, got propped up by Nick Bosa last year and by a really good defensive line.
Yep.
Because if everybody remembers from 2017, 2018, Nobody was happy with Robert Saleh, and everybody was calling for his job. And then 2019 happened. We got Nick Bosa. We have the best defensive line in the league. We have the number one passing defense in the league because of that defensive line and the fact that we could get pressures. And I think the sheer talent kind of props Saleh up in spite of Robert Saleh. He has a very simple scheme, and it's easy for the players to execute. But at the same time, he doesn't make adjustments, so it's easy for opposing teams to figure out, and it's one of those things where today was a perfect example of that, when it's just like, even if Jimmy Ward doesn't want to play cornerback, throw Tarvarius Moore out there at cornerback. He can't be any worse than Brian Allen was. Brian Allen was a dude you picked up, like you plucked off your practice squad midweek or whatever, thinking that he was going to do anything, and he's starting the game, and it's just like there's no reason for that. There's no excuse to keep throwing that guy out there over and over and over again when you have guys sitting behind them. Where's Marcel Harris? Is Marcel Harris hurt? I haven't even heard his name this year.
I haven't either.
I can't even tell you. But I know Tarvarius Moore isn't hurt. He's out there. I've seen him on special teams. Like, throw him at cornerback.
Yep.
There were options there. But the second time, like, first time, okay, he had a bad play. Let's see how he recovers. Second time he gets burned again. It's like, no, we got to yank this dude. That's like they did Jason Verrett like that last year, and Jason Verrett was a previous Pro Bowler. And they can't do that to a P squad guy.
The thing I'll say about Saleh too is he doesn't make adjustments, and when he does, they're way too late. Way too late. He allows the team to take advantage on what they know is going on, how they know they can take advantage of the defense, and then it's like, okay, now we have no choice but to make this adjustment when it's glaringly obvious. We're not defensive coaches. I've never coached ever, and I could have told you after that first series, get Brian the hell out of there. Get Allen, the hell out of there. Why did they keep him in there for 4 series where he gave up, I don't even know how many points at that point, 4 touchdowns? I think they scored on just about every drive. So it was horrible. And that, I agree with you. And I told our own Stewart, he loves Saleh. And I said, look, when they were talking about last season, him getting head coaching opportunities, I said, how much of it is Saleh and how much of it is him coaching the best defense in the league, having the best players on his defense in the league? Yeah. It's anybody can just about look good. Kyle Shanahan could probably flipped over his headset and turned around his play calling sheet and called defense and looked good. So it's like, come on, man, let's not give the guy too much credit. And now that the defense is injured and depleted, they're not looking that great. And I'm not going to pump the brakes. I'm not going to say they're looking horribly, because for all the injuries that they have had, they're still looking okay. You take away Brian Allen today, who knows how different this game comes out. If Akello starts the game, who knows? Maybe it's a closer game. Maybe the 49ers even win. But they didn't, and that's on Saleh. He made the choice to start Brian Allen.
Right. Well, it's not the choice to – listen, I don't blame him for the choice to start Brian Allen. What I blame him for is the choice to keep Brian Allen in there.
Fair.
And, there's a difference. When you got guys like Kyle Shanahan who can make Matt Schaub a Pro Bowler, right, then hey, he's got something. Okay, he's probably a guy that, he's been multiple spots. Everything looks good. Saleh, it's like, if he doesn't have Nick Bosa and all these guys, what are you going to do?
True.
Man, Ace Daddy just wants all these washed-ass quarterbacks, man. RG knee. He's probably got more arthritis in his knee than Todd Gurley does. Todd Gurley, by the way.
And your second question, he played with Kyle. Kyle hated him. Kyle wanted Kirk from day one.
Kyle didn't want him. They wanted Kirk Cousins. They didn't like RG3. That's why Mike Shanahan got fired.
Yeah. Yep. That's true. 4-9 in all fairness. Jimmy Garoppolo hasn't even started 50 games.
True, but he's been in the league long enough that, at some point, come on, man. At some point, you got to be hitting your spots. And again, like I said, you can win with Jimmy G. That's for sure. You can win with Jimmy G. I think we know what his ceiling is now, though. There's that potential, he's only started X number of games. I think that's done. That we know what he is. And, I agree with you. At the end of the day, injuries did derail this season. This team is snake bit. I said it in the chat. This team is snake bit this year. So,
yep. And coach here, Saleh is stuck in his scheme. He totally is 100%. break out of it.
Yep.
It's not working. Do something else.
Well, and we said this in the chat during the game too. Like all season, they've been helping people out, right? And then all of a sudden, you're just going to stick Brian Allen out on an island?
Like
what are you doing? Right. And the thing was, like, essentially for the most part, you know, Verrett was playing the field. He had the wider side of the field. And Allen was playing the boundary. And they were just running go routes on him. Like, not even, like, complicated routes.
Nope.
They were just running fly routes. Like, just go. Just go. You're going to beat him.
Yep.
And he couldn't seem to find his feet. He couldn't seem to – I mean, there were times where he hesitated. Like, the wide receiver made a move, and the wide receiver was just like, no, I'm running.
Yep.
I was just like, what are you doing?
Yeah. It was almost disrespectful that they're just like, we don't even have to try, really. Just run up there. I'll find you. I'll get you the ball. Don't even worry about it. You don't need to run any complicated routes. Don't worry about it. So it sucks. Right. David Yang, I've been saying for a long time, Saleh just isn't it. He lets you get beat all half and then tries to make adjustments in the second half. That's horrible. Matt, is there any scenario in which Saleh doesn't come back after this season?
Yeah, there is a scenario. I mean, you can't let this happen. And I love his fire, and I love that he motivates people. It's just like, if he's not going to adjust his scheme, then it's going to be trouble. And again, it's one of those things where, like, if you're a truly great coach, you coach up talent, right? But this talent seems to have brought Saleh up just by the nature of overwhelming talent.
Fair.
You know, it, like, even last year with our, like, number one pass defense, we were like 18th against the run. And we still, again, last year, we struggled with mobile quarterbacks. How long are you going to struggle with mobile quarterbacks? Because I watched a Carolina team today that did a pretty good job of checking Kyler Murray and forcing him into some bad plays. And I saw a Lions team that forced Kyler Murray into bad plays. And so at some point or another, it's just like, dude, again today, there was a third down where no contain. Ryan Fitzpatrick broke contain, juked Jamar Taylor out of his shoes with that Russell Wilson pump fake, and got a first down on like a 3rd and 14. And it's just like, there's no excuse for that.
Nope.
There's no
not
excuse.
at all.
How do you feel the D-line is so slow? It's not that they're slow. They don't hold their gaps. They don't hold contain. They crash on the quarterback because Saleh teaches them, pin your ears back and go sack the quarterback. And so they over pursue, and then the quarterback steps up, and guess what? There's nobody there, and then they can't catch up. Whereas if they don't go balls to the wall blitz and go after the quarterback and pin their ears back and instead hold the edge, then it's harder, and they can collapse on a quarterback that takes off. They can roll to the quarterback whichever way he decides to go. But they just pin their ears back and just go. Yep. Yeah, Verrett's good, dude. Verrett's good. Verrett's bald. I'm happy that he stayed healthy.
Yeah, talk about one of the few positives of the season so far. Yeah. It's seeing Jason Verrett play really well. Coach, remember Saleh's defense that gave up 21 points in that Super Bowl? His scheme is just not a great scheme. It's just too simple, I think. I think just once teams know how to
catch up.
Exactly. Yeah, then that's it. They got it, and he's not going to make any adjustments to make sure that now they're behind and catching up to what they're doing. It's too simple, too easy to go and sit in between zone read, where the receivers can find the soft spot and just kind of, bam, right there, 15-yard play. It happens way too much. We've seen it way too often.
Yep.
And at some point, he needs to be held accountable because it cannot continue to happen, even with an injury-depleted roster. Ace Daddy Rogers is going to kill us if we don't get that pass rush going. If we don't get that secondary set up, he's going to kill us even more. So we're going to be even more dead, if that makes sense. Hunk Fat.
The line can't run the ball either because that's the way we killed them last year was running the ball.
That's true.
We ran the ball down their throat and they couldn't do anything about it. And so we built a lead and were able to sit on that lead because they couldn't do anything. But if this year we can't run the ball and then we can't rush Aaron Rodgers, then he's going to sit back and definitely pick us apart. So this is actually that's a good point because this is the first time that I've thought about it. And I'm like, man, last year it was like Green Bay can't touch us. This year I'm like, man, I don't know if we can beat Green Bay.
Yep. Same here. Hunk Fat, D'Amico Ryan's next TC.
I don't know.
I like him. I actually like Ryans. I think he's a good coach. He was a hell of a player. I could see him getting a lot out of this defense.
I'll say this. Linebackers aren't the problem.
That's a good point. Even when they are
I'll say that.
Yeah.
So,
Coach, cover 3 is supposed to be designed to prevent the deep pass for Saleh. It isn't working, especially when you don't get the kind of pressure you need to have for it to be successful. 2/3 of it is his fault. That's fair. I'd say that's fair.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah. Kyle hated RG3. That he did. He was very public about that. Too. He did not hide it. Verrett looking good, very happy. He's been good. He's been very good. He's been the solid 49ers corner, which I never thought I'd say. But now that Sherm's out, K1's out, Spoon's been out, Verrett has been the guy. He's been the one guy that they haven't really picked on opposing teams. So
if Akello can get a little more healthy and then Emmanuel comes back from the concussion, and my God, dude, how bad did Tart hit him?
That's crazy. That's crazy that he's still out.
3 weeks? Holy shit.
I'll add, though, real quick before you finish. Kyle did say that they were getting some good news from him and that they're looking like he may be able to go next week. So that's good.
Good. David Yang, get out of here. Look at David Yang. Dan Quinn sucks, dude. Dan Quinn's a defensive guy. Why are the Falcons losing? Not because of offense. They score like 40 points a game, dude, and they can't win because they give up like 50 points a game. No.
Yep.
Dan Quinn.
I want to address this 4-9. Kyle and Saleh are both stubborn. They pound the square block into the round hole. Do you agree with that?
Yep.
Yeah, 100%. They You've said it before on the show.
They're both ego guys that believe in their scheme. So, and I think Kyle should believe in his scheme. I think Kyle, more so than Saleh, has proven himself to be kind of like an offensive guru. He knows what he's doing. He can design plays with the best of them. But with that said, I think he does need to kind of check himself a little bit because the absolute tippy top coaches adapt their scheme to the players, not the players to the scheme.
Yep.
And I think that he loves his scheme too much that, in a different offense, I think that Jimmy Garoppolo could really excel, but I don't think that this offense is necessarily set up for that the way that it's constructed right now, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And
I think the Belichick scheme would be better for him, that New England scheme, and I think that's why New England drafted him. I think that scheme that Tom Brady was running up in New England is a better scheme for Jimmy Garoppolo than what Kyle's doing.
Yeah. Coach Ryans, yes, as far as D'Amico Ryans, if he runs Romeo Cornell's system, not cover 3.
I hate cover 3. I don't think anybody's done it well outside of Seattle when they were in their Super Bowl years. I don't think it's a very good defense.
Yeah, it's not good, and I hate that it's so much predicated on getting that pressure up front. The ball needs to come out within 2 to 3 seconds.
Yeah, like if your offense doesn't get anything, like you're gassed. Like your guys are gassed.
Yep. So yeah, that's just I'm tired of it, and it's not working. They need to do something else. And I just want to say real quick before we wrap up here, Kerry Hyder looked good again. Hyder looked good. He had some good plays.
Yep.
That's my guy. He had a nice sack. And he's not Nick Bosa by any means, but he's a solid pickup. And
it's a surprise.
Yeah, they'd be a lot worse without him out there. So shout out to Kerry Hyder for balling.
Yeah.
4-9. I bet Grant Cohn is in heaven right now. He's about to go off on the organization.
I love to dunk on Grant Cohn as much as anybody. I don't think that he truly hates the 49ers. I just think he has some like weird thought processes that he has about the team. But no, the only guy that I think I'm not going to say any names. No, I will. Ali, you motherfucker up in Canada. I bet you're loving this right now, you fucking doomsayer. God damn you.
Who is Brian Allen? He is a nobody. He is the person that killed the 49ers game today.
Hey.
You don't need to know much.
Jose Batista, Google burnt toast, and you'll see who Brian Allen is.
We can't beat Green Bay. We just got shellacked by the Dolphins. Fair enough.
Yep.
Fair enough. They got shellacked.
Listen, so if you look at the upcoming schedule, it's hard to – I mean, these previews are going to suck because it's hard to favor the 49ers in any of them. Like the Rams right now. Do you favor them against the Rams? No. Do you favor them against New England if Cam Newton's back? No. Do you favor them against fucking Seattle? No.
Hell no. which sucks because it's such a drastic difference from last year. And you can chalk it up to injuries as much as you want, but for the most part, this offense is fully healthy minus the offensive line, which, don't get me wrong, I'm not discounting that. That's a huge piece. But after next week, they get Richburg back, right? He's eligible at least, I should say.
Week 6, yeah, pup.
Week 6. Yeah. So after next week,
I'm not using Timor as corner. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know.
He could have been worse than Brian Allen.
Anything would have been better than Brian Allen.
Exactly, yeah. Coach Hyder is balling. He's the only DE showing discipline and playing his BCR rules. The only one. I like how you stress that out there.
Here's another game. I didn't hear Eric Armstead's name once.
No, and we talked about that. We talked about him in the preview.
So
that
he's another guy that I'm going to look at and be like, dude, you're not living up to your contract. And again, like I said on the preview show, how coincidental is it that he makes this big money contract off of a career year directly following DeForest Buckner's 13-sack season, and then you look over in Indianapolis and DeForest Buckner's balling out? So, again, it's one of those situations. It was probably always Buckner, and they went the money route rather than the player route, which, again, you can't really blame. But at the same time, like, it's pretty obvious what's going on now. So
yeah. And you talked about this. You brought up this comparison, which I think is a really good one. It's just like Notre Dame with Mike McGlinchey and Quentin Nelson. Yep. They both benefited from who was next to them balling out. Yep. And it sucks.
Covers up a lot of warts.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jose Batista, love it. The moment I saw 48 or something, Allen, I said, oh, no, it's over.
Dude, like I said earlier in the show, I don't know if you're here, Jose, but I said if you're playing cornerback and your number is in the 40s, like high 40s, not like some people like that number. Like E-Man obviously likes 41 because he still wears it. Yeah. But like if you're in the high 40s playing corner, not good, dude. Not good. That's an off number, man.
Yep. 4-9, Verrett's the only bright spot on the defense. I'd argue Hyder.
Hyder.
Yeah.
Also, Fred Warner is a rock, dude. The linebackers are straight. Like the linebackers are straight. Even Quan Alexander played really well today. There was a goal line play that was a touchdown for the Dolphins, but Quan Alexander played that about as well as you could play that and got out there real quick. It just, the play design was really bad or really good. To kill that bad? No, but I do think that it was more than just an injury for some sneaking suspicion. Yep. Because for him to go out there and play after Allen got burned after those drives and to not come, he didn't even like shake his leg out once from what I saw.
No. He was like, okay, let's do it. Yeah.
Yep. He's like, oh yeah, I'm in the game. Okay, we can play.
And he played well. Minus a couple of guys. I think he had at least one pass interference call on him late in the game. But, I mean, with Akello, one is good.
Compared to Brian Allen?
That's true. Yeah, compared to the alternative, yeah. So
might as well throw my old fat ass out there. I could have played cornerback better than Brian Allen.
It's true, man. It was horrible, and I almost feel for the guy because they didn't give him any help. They were asking a lot of him. Devontae Parker is a hell of a wide receiver, and you're asking a guy off the street to come in and cover him all on his own like he's Darrelle Revis. What do you expect, Robert Saleh and 49ers? That's what's going to happen. He's going to get burnt time and time again. So you were better off putting Spoon out there. But, yeah, I agree with Matt. Something else, some politics, something behind the scene must have been going on to where they were trying to send a message to Akello. Ace Daddy, I'd rather not be favored, say we play good when we're not favored. That's true. When they're underdogs, this team recently, I should say historically, they've played well. It's when they are favored, like the past 2 weeks, they've come out.
Isn't that the story, though? Isn't that a lot of the story? Is that, like, it's always easier to be the chaser rather than the one being chased?
It's true.
Like, it's hard to – like, it's easier to climb the mountaintop than it is to stay on top.
Yep. And, I mean,
I think there's something to that.
We said it going into this year is last season – nobody predicted the 49ers to be 13-3. Nobody predicted them to go to the Super Bowl. Mm-mm. They were the surprising team. Well, now all eyes are on you. Now you got to prove that it wasn't a fluke year. Now you got to prove that you're here to stay and you're going to defend the title, the NFC Championship title, I should say. And it's tough. It's tough. You got film on you. Opposing teams are circling that game on the schedule. They know when we play the 49ers, we better come correct because they completely manhandled 13 teams last year, not counting playoffs. So it's easier to be the surprising team that's over aspiring than the team that's already done it, and people are expecting that of you, because if you play anything less than that, everybody starts questioning a lot. Coach Eric Armstead disappears when they play him at DE. They need to keep him inside where he can be more of an impact. Again, Saleh, lack of adjustment, showed that tendency last season too. He's best inside. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, easily. And this is one of those things where, like, there's too much. You want to believe in your guys, right? But at some point you got to be like, dude, you're not getting it done. Like, we got to do it this way. And I wonder if it's a little bit too much of, God, what's the term? I'm spacing on it right now. Where there's like what is the term? Like the hens are running the hen house or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I think the players have too much of the coach's ear, and the players are like, I can do this. And the coach is like, oh yeah, I believe in you, bro.
Yeah.
And it used to be like, no, dude, you fucking suck outside. You need to stay inside, stay in your fucking. I'm the coach, you're the player. Like, it's this participation trophy attitude. And sorry for all you softies out there, but like the wise and sage Ricky Bobby said, if you're not first, you're last. So, no, it's like, it's obvious that he's way more effective inside, and they continue to put him on the outside. And I just don't understand. I guess right now it's kind of a thing of like, well, who are you going to put outside if not Armstead? But, I would rather put an unknown outside and put somebody like Armstead in a position of strength, rather than put Armstead somewhere where he's not going to produce, but because he's a name, you throw him there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Definitely, because he's the veteran, he's the high paid one. They're probably thinking, if you can't do this, we don't really have anybody else anyway, so let's just see what you got. Niner faithful, would you trade for a corner or offensive line before the deadline? Corner, I would.
I would try, but who's going to be available that's going to make an impact on the team?
Yeah. If one presents itself, I think they have to pull the trigger.
I said this earlier. It's not
saving the season.
I said earlier, this is not Major League Baseball, dude. Like, trades aren't as common in the NFL as they are in other sports. Especially if you're looking to accumulate draft picks, because draft picks are valuable. Draft picks are cash. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So
4-9. We need to stop naming our seasons. It's Quest for 6, Revenge Tour. We jinxed ourselves. That's fair. I
don't want to hear anything about Revenge Tour anymore.
It's the Rehab Tour now.
Exactly. It's the Walking Wounded Tour right now.
It's the tour to the hospital to get the surgery, because that's where this team's at. I mean, they're just completely beat up. And
it's the tour to your house come playoff time, because they're not going to be there.
No, even with the extra spot, it's a stretch to imagine they could win more than 8 games this year. That's a stretch.
Well, especially given the difficult schedule that they have. Yeah,
the upcoming 7 games. They could, and I'm not being a downer here. I love the 49ers just as much as the next guy. They could easily go 0-7 the next 7 games. Easily.
I don't think they will, obviously.
I don't think they will either, but they can.
I would say like 3-4 probably. I would say they'd probably go 3-4. But again, if they go 3-4, that puts them at 5-7.
Yeah. Best case
scenario. So that's not really going to get it done.
No. So all I'm saying is, I were to put into in a coma, and if I were put into a coma today, I woke up in 8 weeks, and I'm saying, what's the 49er schedule? What did they do last 7 weeks? And you said they went 0-7. I'd say, sounds about right. Yeah, that sucks, but sounds about right. I'm not expecting them to, but if it happened, I wouldn't be drastically surprised.
Right.
47-48 cornerback, bad news. Yep, can't expect that. Stephen Kello is the 4th best outside corner on the team after Sherman, Brett, Mosley.
Agreed.
100%. Yeah. But he's still better than
Allen. 5th best corner on the team in total, because I think K1 is probably.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think K1 Williams is the best corner on the team.
I was going to say, he's number one. Jose, they lost all trust in Akello after Akello lost trust in Akello.
Yeah. That's some fucking trust inception right there, but yeah.
It really is. The
Dude, that's
next
such a good movie. I feel like I might watch that after this to wash the taste out of my mouth. I might go watch Inception.
I haven't checked anything with the Seattle game. I'm just hoping Kirk is taking them to task.
So the teams. Wait, so 4-9. Are you saying that the stretch coming up of the record of the teams that we're going to play is 17-3? Holy shit!
Yeah. I saw that during the broadcast. They were saying something like that, and it was like the exact opposite. The first quarter of the season, they had barely won a game, and each team had like 3 or 4 losses.
And that's what makes these last 2 losses so painful. Because if you come into this difficult stretch 4-1 and you go 3-4, then you're 7-5 afterwards rather than 5-7. That 2-game swing is such a huge one, especially given the fact that the NFC West is the toughest division of football. It's the best division of football because even a team, again, like the Arizona Cardinals, who aren't a great team, can beat you any given week. And, this team last year thrived under adversity. There were a lot of comeback wins. And this year, it doesn't seem like we have that same resilience. And it's disappointing. But the injuries are what they are, and they've contributed to that. So
it sucks. But, yeah, it seems like this was the stretch. We talked about this in the preview. This was the stretch of games to where the 49ers can accumulate easy wins, build themselves some buffer zone to where if they have to drop a couple of these tough games, they can afford to do that. They wasted that buffer zone on these easy games, and now it's pretty much win out or you're not going to do anything, and I don't see them winning out. So
the worst part about what the worst part about today is?
What's up?
My wife is a fucking Dolphins fan.
I know.
She's been in Utah for the whole weekend. She's been in Utah the whole weekend hiking with her friends, and she's gonna come back today, and she's just gonna like shack in the paint. She's just gonna fucking dunk all over me as soon as she gets home, and I'm gonna have to just eat it.
That's so terrible. Funny. I didn't know she was out of town, but I texted you during the game. I'm like, how happy is your wife right now?
I mean, for my wife, listen, I'm gonna be real for everybody. My wife's not like that. She's not gonna. Yeah. She actually texted when I told her that like we lost and like Jimmy, like I told the score, she was like, "Oh, I'm sorry," and I'm like, "You're so nice. You're not a typical sports fan because a typical sports fan would have dunked all over me." But yeah, she'd be like, "You guys suck." No,
Hyder is just depth. Oh, for sure. But when I talk about Hyder, I'm excited because it's like getting something out of nothing. Bosa goes down. You're thinking, crap, what are we going to get there? Nobody's going to be there. And then he's kind of been a nice surprise there because he's played well and he's been productive. So when I talk about
I like the food analogies. Hyder is like going to a restaurant, right? And they're like fucking 79-cent breakfast burrito. And you're like, fuck, dude, I'm hungry. But like, what is this going to be? It's going to be fucking trash. And you go and it's really good. And you're like, oh shit, this is way better than I thought for 79 cents.
Yeah, they even included bacon. That's fine. Back.
Yeah.
Do you think Armstead should have gotten that contract, Matt? That's a good question.
No, I was always no. So, and we had this. So with our buddies over at Nothing But Niners, Mike over at Nothing But Niners, he was always an Armstead guy. He always thought Buckner was overrated, but I was telling him, dude, the production's not there. Buckner has severely outproduced Eric Armstead, and he's the guy. I get it from a monetary standpoint why you would go with Armstead over Buckner, but there was no question in my mind that Buckner was the better player. Like, no doubt in my mind. And while Armstead's contract isn't, like, horrendous, it's not great either. I think it's slightly above what Armstead's market value is, and I think that they're going to have to address that. Beyond next year, I don't know that Armstead is going to stick around because I don't think that you can afford to have him stick around.
That's fair. And I think, maybe he's saying this in the sense of, would you have kept him over Buckner? They couldn't afford Buckner, even if they didn't sign Armstead. So
in my heart of hearts, I wouldn't have kept him over Buckner, but logistically, I understand why they had to. Sergio Mendoza, what's up, dude?
How you doing, man? Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate all you guys. We're going to go through some more comments here before we wrap things up. Let's see.
I know. I feel like we could go on forever because this was such a shit show today.
It was bad. It was really. We almost don't even want to talk about the game. We just want to talk.
But isn't it funny though that the victories were like, fuck yeah, this happened, on to the next, let's go. And it's like a shorter show, right? But then when everything goes wrong, we're like, we can sit here for hours nitpicking this team to death.
Yep. It's true. Jose Batista, did anybody notice Kyle Shanahan actually took some blame for this L? He said it starts with me. I think we needed these losses. If things don't start to change soon, I think that's our season. I'm not sure where that quote ends. I think it ends after it starts with me. But if so, that's good. Finally, that's what a head coach should do. And I didn't mean finally like he's never taken ownership. But you got to get out of your game plan.
But has he?
That's a good point.
He calls people out, dude. He calls people out.
It's true. He would say,
and I think
you make that throw, you wanted to see more from this guy.
Yeah.
It all starts.
Jimmy's got to make that throw, or like we didn't get the line blocking that we wanted today. But if he's saying like it starts with me, I think that's a good sign, because I think Kyle needs to get that punch in the mouth and kind of check his ego and really, again, adjust your scheme to the players. Don't try to adjust your players to a scheme that they're not comfortable with, because it's not going to work out.
Nope. If it's not working, you got to change it. 4-9 playoffs. You talking about the playoffs? Yeah. Not this year. We can't even win a game. Playoffs. I feel we will beat the Rams next week, and slowly that hate slow down. I don't know if they can beat the Rams, but division games are weird. So I wouldn't.
They're always weird.
Yeah, they play them weird. They sweep them last season. Coach, I don't believe we jinxed ourselves. I believe COVID's pandemic did. We thrive off fans' energy. That was proven last year. This year we are flat and have had much energy in games. How much do you chalk this up to nobody actually being in the stadium as far as fans?
COVID's pandemic. I spy with my little eye the conservative in the chat. No, I'm just kidding. Don't talk politics here, by the way. We don't want it. No, I agree that we're flat and haven't shown much energy. 0-3 in our home stadium.
It's ugly.
0-3. Ugly.
I saw
and I hate, honestly, we went there last year. I'm going to be real. I hate Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara. This thing was built for San Francisco.
Yep.
It was supposed to be at Candlestick Point on the lot and then just tear down Candlestick afterwards. You can tell by the way that it's designed. I don't think it works in Santa Clara. There's nothing there. It doesn't feel like home. You know that the players aren't staying in they don't live in San Jose and shit. They're living in the city. Nope. And the stadium should be in the city. And I can't stand that stadium. I don't like it. There's a lot of problems.
It's just flat in general. There's not much energy there.
I don't mind the design, but the design was meant to, much like AT&T Park, right? Or what's called now? Oracle Park?
Oracle, right? Yeah.
The sight lines were built for water. Like that stadium design, if you can see water, it works perfectly. But you're looking at one side is Great America, and then the other side is like industrial buildings.
Yeah.
And parking lot. It doesn't work. So, and then you have like, even with fans, you have the one side during 1 o'clock games, it's like super hot in like October, right? Because you have no shade. I just, I don't think that it's, especially this year, I don't think that it's a home field advantage. Even in other years, I don't think it was a home field advantage. And so that kind of sucks, man. I hope in 35 years when they're ready for a new stadium that they build it back in the city, because,
It's true. And the only positive is that fans were able to make it lively. When we went for that home opener last season against the Steelers in week 3,
that dope.
Was rocking. Without those fans there, though, there's no advantage at all. And that favors the visiting team, because they can come in there, do whatever they need to do, not need to go on to a hard count, or a silent count, I should say, and they can play like they're playing at home. So, it sucks.
Well, but here's the thing, though, and I think this is a big thing, too, is that when you play on the road, right, so you're talking about silent counts, and that's really good when you don't have to do silent counts. But here's the other thing. When you're on the road, you don't have those creature comforts of home. So you're dialed in on the game. Like, you don't have any choice but to be dialed in on the game. So I think that actually – I think 2020 actually favors road teams, and I'd be very interested at the end of the season to review what home and road splits are as opposed to what they've been in the past as far as total victories for road teams versus home teams. Because I definitely think that the lack of fans – and this is going to be something that's going to haunt California teams, because unfortunately, California is more litigious than other states. And whereas in games like today, where you see, Kansas City had fans and Pittsburgh had fans and stuff like that, there's no fans in California. There's not going to be for this year. So,
Just
it's
want
going
to
to be
do
difficult.
a quick score break. It's 10-0 Vikings over Seattle right now. I'm not getting my hopes up. I imagine Seattle will come from some last second behind victory like they always do, even though they played poorly through 58 minutes. They'll play well for a minute and a half and win the game because that's what they always seem to do.
Russell Wilson is so good, but he's so fucking annoying.
Yeah. His personality, his play on the field, he's like annoying.
Oh God. His personality, Mr. Unlimited. Get out of here, you motherfucker.
Shut the fuck up.
Terrible. So
he's good though.
Watch that commercial. I almost pissed myself laughing because it was so corny. He's so corny. I'm like, dude, I'm a tech nerd. I build my own computers and shit. That was nerdy even for me. I was like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
How many M's are in unlimited? Like, shit, dude. Did somebody slow down the tape while they were replaying that?
I know. And then Sierra's got to go over there and reward his corny ass. It's like, come on, man. Don't reward this guy with Sierra. He's winning enough in life.
She's like, I made you sugar cookies, boo.
How many did you make? Because I want unlimited. He's such a joke. It pisses me. He doesn't deserve to be that good at football. He doesn't.
I hate it. I hate it.
Swagger. And just
he's the type of dude that got the shit beat out of him in high school, and he's like the best athlete on the field.
Yeah,
so annoying.
It sucks. But sorry, just wanted to give a quick score update. 10-0 Vikings over the Seahawks.
Yeah. It's okay. I needed that laugh after the shit show today.
Yeah, same here. Even though it was a giant joke, Kwan's absence really showed in the game.
Yeah, fortunately, outside of 2011 through 2013 and last year, we've been conditioned for shitty 49ers teams. So
that's true. Okay. That's true, especially shitty 49ers quarterback play because this was ugly. It's been ugly last couple weeks.
I was fortunate enough to grow up with Joe Montana and Steve Young, so I can't speak for the rest of you guys, but I grew up with that. So
yeah, no, I was born in '94. I remember more of Tim Rattay, JT O'Sullivan, Ken Dorsey.
I was fucking 12 in 1994.
You were fucking 12. I'm not gonna say it. Kwan's absence really showed in this game. Clearly the best DB. You can't put that game on Tart and Ward. Not to take anything away from those guys, they played their asses off.
Yeah,
Kwan's great.
I would say Kwan is the best cornerback, but you have to include safety in DB, and I think it's close between him and Jaworski. I think Jaworski is he's fantastic.
So underrated. He's so good. And there was a play though, I don't remember who exactly it was, but him and Ward were both back there, and they gave up a touchdown right in between the both of them, and it's like. Yeah. Out of all the guys in the secondary, I would have counted on both of those guys to not.
Fitzpatrick got drilled on that play too, and he made it like a fantastic throw.
Yes, that's the play I'm thinking of.
Again, because I'm such a pro Jimmy guy, but when I saw that throw, the first thing in my mind was like Jimmy wouldn't have made that throw.
Yeah,
and that's sad to admit. And so that's where I'm like, fuck, dude. Like the leg that I stand on to defend Jimmy is becoming a little bit more creaky. Like it's harder for me to do it.
Yep. What do you think of this? Coach says with Kwan out, when Sherman and Mosley come back, I would move Verrett to inside nickel corner, which I think he can do now that he's 100% healthy. He can lock people down.
I would do that next week against the Rams if Mosley and Akello play. Put Mosley and Akello outside and put Verrett on the inside.
That's fair. Yeah. The Rams have some receivers.
Yeah, they have a lot of receivers.
Yeah. So Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods.
Yep.
It can get ugly, guys. Just a heads up. It can get ugly if they don't keep that in check.
Yeah. Coach is from South Bend, Indiana. Nice.
Let's see. Going through these.
I was spoiled growing up with fantastic 49ers teams, and I remember most of those teams. I think actually I don't remember the first two Super Bowls, but the three after that I definitely remember, starting with the game against the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, unfortunately, the only two Super Bowls I've seen the 49ers play in are the last two, 2012 and then last year. So not looking good for me.
I was so hyped on that 94 Super Bowl. It was so good, dude. That team was so good. Yeah. By the way, I wanna shout out David Lombardi for the most ridiculous Twitter take of the day by saying that Jimmy Garoppolo getting benched is akin to that 94 season when Steve Young got benched. Not the same situation, bro. Not the same. Stop.
No, not at all.
Bad boy.
49 bloodline. Russell Wilson has a trash OL, still produces big time players, produce big time plays. Yeah, but Russell Wilson is top 2 or 3 at his position. You can't expect that from a top 10 guy. Russell Wilson is the elite of the elite. He's the guy that can take a trash team like the Seahawks and turn them into a Super Bowl contender. And it's so disrespectful that he never got a first team MVP vote.
vote. That's so stupid.
I can't believe that. If you take away Russell Wilson, the Seahawks don't have any championships in the last 10 years,
And to me, it's 1A, 1B between Patrick Mahomes and Russell Wilson. They're the 2 best quarterbacks in the NFL.
That's fair.
And nobody can do it. And after that, I would put like Aaron Rodgers and Deshaun Watson.
Josh Allen.
Dude, I really like Josh Allen. That's
he looks good.
Fact about me. I like Josh Allen a lot. I think he's fucking awesome.
He's gonna tear us up.
Josh Allen is a taller, wider version of Lamar Jackson that can throw the ball better.
That's fair. He's gonna tear us up. I'm not looking forward to that Buffalo game at all.
No,
hopefully they're fully healthy.
He's gonna
Ace Daddy. Why does Trent have a back plate? Trent Williams.
Trent Williams.
Yeah. I didn't see that.
Because that man runs the field like a skill position player. That's why. That man gets out in front of the ball.
49er told me Shanahan needs a quarterback who could be mobile and move. Jimmy isn't that. Should have got Watson, man.
I love Deshaun Watson, too.
I love Deshaun Watson.
Deshaun Watson's fantastic.
Jimmy isn't even a little mobile. It's hard when he's injured and coming off that ACL. He was more mobile in 2017.
I don't think they want him to move. That's why.
That's fair.
But, again, he's not like he wasn't even ever Aaron Rodgers mobile. He was just like, okay, I can get outside the pocket a little bit.
Yeah.
I got my own WCO playbook. WCO. What's that? West Coast Offense. Okay.
Yeah.
I had to fucking work through that for a minute.
Fuck yes.
Yeah, dude. Hey, coach, go ahead and send that to 49ershive@gmail.com. We'll take a look at it.
That's what's up. Sorry, guys. I know we're behind in this chat. We've been kind of messing around.
I know. Well, I mean, we gotta mess around a little bit. We gotta have some.
Exactly. Yeah, we need some sort of fun after this shit show that we saw today. So I talked about Kerry Hyder. Get back to the game.
Hold on. I just read something in the chat. Hey, Sergio, like you're welcome here and all that stuff. We don't need to say that word though.
Oh.
Yeah, we don't need to say that word. That's
okay.
fucked up. Let's use a different word for that.
I talked about Kerry Hyder. What was a bright spot that you saw today? Let's get a little bit positive. It's hard to take away too many positives from that game, but something you saw you liked.
I mean, Fred Warner played outstanding as always. I thought Fred Warner did a really good job. If I'm talking about something that was a pleasant surprise after the 49ers run struggles, I think that Raheem Mostert coming in and being as effective as he was coming off of a knee injury was really good. I like that. Yeah,
that's true. He gave some life to this running game, and it shows just how much he actually helps this offensive line because they can't open for anybody. But I saw one play in particular, I don't remember which one it was, where there was nothing there, and he had the vision to cut back and find another hole on the complete opposite side of the field.
Yeah.
His vision is unmatched on this team. He's so good
at run too. He beasted a run too.
Oh, yeah.
Where he got contacted a couple times.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was 9 yards after contact that he picked up. They said Fred Warner's a dog. Fred Warner is my favorite 49er right now.
Best linebacker in the league. Yeah.
Best middle linebacker in the league for sure. But outside of George Kittle, he's my favorite 49er right now. He's fucking phenomenal. I love.
He's so good. He's
so good.
What
a find by this regime to grab him.
Yeah. I don't remember when he was picked.
Bullshit penalty, by the way. That roughing the passer.
Oh
that
my
they called on
god!
him,
I can't believe they called
that
that.
was a terrible call. We haven't even gotten into the
so
refs, so
bad.
we're so inconsistent today.
Yep.
And I know that the 49ers benefited from like some questionable calls, but I would rather see good reffing all the way around rather than that inconsistent refereeing that goes like both ways or whatever. It's just like Fred Warner, like it's like you teach heads up tackle, but then you're like, oh well, your head's too high. And it's just like, well, what do you want, dude?
Yep.
Like, I can't lower my head. I can't keep my head up. Like, what do I do? I gotta run into you dick first? Like, is that what's going on? I gotta like fucking.
That's why this whole rule change is so dumb, because from Pop Warner, you're taught head up,
heads
square.
Up tackling.
Yeah, that's how you're taught. That's how I was taught. And then you go ahead and just change it.
Head contact. Like it was a byproduct of him getting body to body, and the heads happened to touch. It wasn't forceful contact to the head. It wasn't like the shot that Kyle Allen took earlier from Jalen Ramsey, that was forcible head-to-head contact. But this was just like, it's just, okay, they touched helmets. Like, get over it.
Yeah. And speaking of the refereeing, there was a third down, I believe, to Kendrick Bourne, where it was just complete pass interference.
Sorry, I saw 4-9's comment. The Dolphins did run into us dick first today. That's for sure.
Dude, speaking of funny words, okay, when Ross Dwelly missed that block and Jimmy got completely sacked and fumbled, I tweeted out, not even knowing, I was so pissed off. I tweeted out, Jimmy just got nailed from his backside, and somebody replied, like, could you make a more horrible choice of words? I'm like, oh shit, I didn't even read.
Sergio, you're good, dude. Like, just we want to keep away from the really bad ones.
Coach, 49ers Hive, one word at gmail.com, right?
Yeah, 49ers Hive, one word at gmail.com. Send it.
Yeah.
Send it. And actually, for that contribution, we are going to we're going to send you something in return. So go ahead and include your return address with that.
We'll send you some merch. We'll send you something cool. Send an address and your size.
Yep.
Size t-shirt. If we have a top draft pick, best corner or best offensive line?
Quarterback. I dealt with this on the previous show. Premium picks for premium positions. I firmly believe that, because you can get a good – so Creed Humphrey is one of the best interior offensive linemen in the country, but you're going to be able to get him at the end of round 1, early round 2. So if you're picking – let's say the 49ers have worst-case scenario or whatever, they go like 4-12 or 6-10 or something like that, you're going to be able to get one of the top-flight cornerbacks at that position. And then if you need to, you can move your second-round pick and maybe like a 4th or a 5th or whatever to get back into the first round and take a Creed Humphrey. But – premium picks go to premium positions. So if you're not talking edge rusher or something like that, like you can't do interior O-line in round 1. It's really hard to do that when you have other needs, especially if the talent's there. Now, if they pick later, right, and living up in Canada now, so shipping might be an issue for you.
It's not an issue.
No, that's not an issue. It's not an issue. You're good. If you get to your pick, right, and you don't like the guy, you have like a second-round grade on a guy versus a first-round grade on an interior offensive lineman, then okay, best player available. Take your interior offensive lineman or trade out, right? But if you're there and you have two guys that you have graded within a couple slots of each other, and one is a corner or another premium position and one's an interior offensive lineman, you got to go to the premium position. Like, that just makes more sense to me.
Yeah, and I would much rather have a lockdown corner than a cornerstone offensive lineman. I think it's just, like you said, it's a premium position.
Unless it's a left tackle.
Yes. Unless it's a left tackle, which the
exception is left tackle.
Yeah.
Because that's a premium position on the line.
Yeah. I totally agree with that. But center or any of the guards, no way. I'll go with corner. 4-9. Hey, talking drafted week 5. Yeah, talk about the epitome of seasons not turning out. Talking draft and talking future quarterbacks in week 5. What a shit show.
This fits with 2020 though, right? 2020 has been a shit show. So this kind of par for the course for the year.
Of course, yeah. It sucks, but that's where we're at right now in the 49ers season. It remains to be seen if they can turn it around. I personally don't have too much faith. From what we've seen, it's hard to have faith.
It's just going to be so hard considering how many other good teams are in the NFC. I mean, the fucking Chicago Bears are 4-1 or whatever it is, or 3-1 or whatever it is, right?
Yep. And the fact that they're in the toughest division. If they were in the NFC East, oh, dude, they might.
Of course, yeah.
So nope, not anymore.
Absolutely.
Nope, they're in the NFC West, toughest division.
We're in last place.
Yep. 2 and 3 is last place. When 1 and 3 last week put the Eagles in first place, or 1, 2 and 1, whatever the hell they were. So
the Eagles' first victory put them in first place in the NFC East. The NFC least, as I like to call it. That division sucks. And I know I know there's an extra playoff spot this year, right? If the 49ers can somehow get to 8-8, that might get it done. But the 7-game stretch is so tough. Ace Daddy, I'm going to ban you, dude. Would you trade for Carson Wentz? No, he sucks. No. Why do you want all these quarterbacks that suck, man? Pick a good one. Why don't you say, would you trade for Deshaun Watson? Fuck yeah, I would.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, I would. I give a first, second, third round pick for Deshaun Watson.
As soon as they traded Hopkins, I would have called Bill O'Brien and said,
I'm sad that Bill O'Brien got fired because I'm like, we can't fleece him for Watson now.
I'm just sad. That makes my heart hurt.
We appreciate you, though. We appreciate you, though.
Same here.
We appreciate you.
That sucks, but
I actually 8-8 can get it done. So back to what we were talking about. 8-8 can get it done, but this 7-game stretch is so tough that can we get there?
Yep.
Like again, if you split either way, if you go 4-3, you're 6-6. If you go 3-4. You're 5-7. Either way, it's going to be really hard because then after we get kind of another we've said this though, like a very winnable, what we should win get right game against the Washington football team after that 7-game stretch. But then I think we get we get Seattle again, we get the Rams again, and we get somebody else. And I can't remember who it is. I think Cardinals? It might be Arizona again. Yeah, it's probably Arizona again. Which three division games, super tough, man. Like it's a tough schedule. It's tough.
It's very tough.
Tough sledding, that's for sure. I would say we need at least 9-7. I think so too.
Yeah,
9-7. I think we definitely get there, but 8-8 possibly, depending on how it shakes out. I think the Bears. I know I talked about them. I think the Bears are a house of cards. They're 4-1, by the way, because they played Thursday.
Oh yeah.
I think they're a house of cards. I don't trust Nick Foles. Like. They could go 5-1 and then lose their next 10 games, and I wouldn't be shocked. I'd be like, oh, yeah, okay.
Yep. It sucks. And what sucks the most is that they haven't won a game at home. That's so just mind-boggling.
It's weird.
Against the Cardinals, the Eagles, and the Dolphins, you go 0-3 against.
Undefeated on the road at MetLife. And 0-3 at home. Yeah.
It sucks.
Against the Rams?
What's that?
Are we home against the Rams next week?
Let me see. I have it up right here.
I think we are.
Yeah. No. Sorry, we are. Oh, it's a Sunday night game. That's lovely.
We're home, right? And then we're at New England.
Yep. And then at Seattle. So that's just great. It's a Sunday night game.
Fun times, y'all. Fun times.
Hope they're not embarrassed. Yep. It could get ugly quick.
Hope you guys are ready.
Yeah. Be prepared to be sad again. But I think that's going to do it. Matt, anything else you want to say before we wrap things up here?
No, just I thank everybody for coming out, even on a difficult Sunday where we lost again. I know it's hard. And again, just because you're critical of the team doesn't mean that you're hopping off the bandwagon. Don't let people dunk on you or whatever. We're all here together. We're all fans and we all love each other. MetLife took our souls in 2 ACLs. Yep. But we appreciate you guys coming out. Go ahead and tune in. We're gonna go over some heavy content. I think this week. I think we have a lot of topics that we can go over that are going to be mainly directed towards the future beyond this season. But we'll let you guys know on that. We might have to win all 3 of those games. Yeah, I think so. Oh, it's Dallas, Arizona, Seattle. Dallas became a lot more winnable today, and thoughts go out to Dak Prescott. That looks like a tib-fib fracture. He's going to be down for the year. That's going to be surgery. They sent him to the hospital right away. That tells me they couldn't reduce the fracture. So For all you non-medical people out there, reducing something means to straighten it out, essentially. His foot was turned the wrong way, so you don't want that. That's bad news. So, yeah, he's going to be done for the season. But that being said, I mean, their backup situation is pretty legit.
Yep. And they got some weapons out there on the
Red Rifle, Andy Dalton. He's not terrible.
Red Rocket.
But no, I said Red Rifle this time. I said Red Rocket in the chat. God damn it. Yeah, this live stream was like a memorial service because we are going to lay to rest the 2020 49ers season.
Yep. Which is why I came dressed in all black, in a black suit, black shirt. It's time to give our thoughts and condolences to the season because it just got out of hand. Got out of hand too quickly.
Wolfgar 49, the Johnny come lately. Our season is over. Our team is trash. It's not trash. That you can only overcome so much. There's only so much adversity you can deal with, and there's so many injuries on this team that it's one of those things where you're just like, well, what are you going to do? So
but
guys, join us throughout the week, and we're going to have some content for you. And then next week again, Saturday, we're going to go live. Sunday night, we're going to react to the 49ers Rams. Is going to be Sunday night, so it'll be a little late for you guys, but we'd appreciate you coming out anyway.
Yep. And if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. If you're watching on Twitter, hit that follow button. We appreciate all you guys. We give new videos, put them up almost daily, so make sure you're coming out. And like Matt said, we do a live stream preview on Saturday and a live stream recap right after the post conferences on Sundays. So make sure you guys are here for all of the videos, all of the content, and we appreciate all you guys tuning in. So with that, I think we'll end it on that. Go Niners. Hopefully they can turn the season around, but it's not pretty right now, guys. So
join us on YouTube. Click the bell for notifications so you don't miss any videos. Hopefully the season gets better, but we appreciate you guys coming out. And until next time, guys, go Niners.